beast. Crossworlds, my boy. Crossworlds went crazy. And within the first 30 minutes of playing, I ended up pre-ordering the game just because of how much fun I was having. If you're new to my channel, you know I have a couple of videos where I outline some criticisms I had towards Crossworlds. So I wanted to outline some of the things that I got right and some of the things I didn't get right, and some new criticisms that I have that I didn't have before. First of all, this mug is insanely fun. But alright bro, it's nice playing with you, nice chatting with you.
Wait, are they gonna play one more? No, one more, cause I was close.
One more, Street King.
One more, cause this is BS.
Fine, you monster. Come on. Oh, that's me. Let's go! Oh, I love that.
Bruh.
That's a great way to end, J-Blast. An incredible. I was so glad you recommended one more race. Incredible.
No, one more race.
You're incredible. No, bro. No, it's never gonna end. It's never gonna end, bro. I love the Grand Prix mode and how difficult the AI was. Typically in Mario Kart, the Grand Prix at basically every level is pretty easy. The only thing is trying to get the 3 stars, like trying to make sure you win every single race in first place. But other than that, the computers are not an issue. I really like how they always start you in the back. And the other thing I really liked were the time trials. I really hope they do not adjust these S rank times or these A rank times, because I did not get a single S rank in any of the time trials on the 3 stages they let you do. It was such a good surprise, and I loved how unique it was, in which they put all of the wisps in specific spots of the stage, so you have to integrate collecting them in order to get a good time. I love the customization. I love the variety with the gadgets. I was experimenting the whole time. I have one build that's kind of centered around the collision boost, especially with my power vehicles. Power is low-key. It doesn't seem very good. I still don't really know exactly what power does. Like, I think they take away more rings when they hit you, but I don't know. They need to actually list it out. But it was really cool just going so slow and just coming up from behind and just having the slipstream boost, having collision boost, having the 5 ring steal, and I forgot what else I had. But I would just be trucking past everybody. It felt so amazing. No, let's go. Ooh, no, the power. Yo, that's the power type. Dang, I just bullied the mess out of everybody. Dang. And of course, with my extreme gear and with everything else, at first I used to always do the level 1 boost upgrade, but then I started getting into the counter boost upgrade. And so that kind of changed the way I played the game in general. Starting off my drift in the opposite direction, then going towards, there's just so much variety. There's so many different ways to play, and I loved it. And I really liked how front running was still the best strategy, even in spite of the chaos that was going on with the items. I didn't play in the original beta test, but I watched so many hours of it that it seemed like that you were more congregated in a pack while you were playing. But in this game, everybody seemed a little bit more spread out. So I feel like there were times where I would generally spend a lot of time in the front, even though of course I would get Mario Karted at the end, but it felt like it was still a more powerful and more viable option. I don't even think you can really bag that well in this game if you wanted to. Like, you try to stay in the back and just try to just come up. I don't really think there's any items. There's nothing like a gold mushroom in this game, or like there's nothing that's like that strong. The slime is actually very similar to the lightning bolt, because of the fact that it hits everybody, makes everybody spin out and slows everybody down, and it takes an item. So it is very similar to lightning, but it's still not as strong as Mario Kart's lightning. But I just love the skill ceiling and the dynamic camera, that I think is what really sold me, because it made the game feel so intense and so fast. The festival mode was really fun. It was a good twist on the gameplay formula, and I like that it's there. I really did like Team Sonic Racing's team mechanic, and I really just wish I had people to actually play it with, because I think it would have been a lot of fun, like with full lobbies. I don't know how many people experience full lobbies with the whole team mechanic. But now let's go into some of the things that I didn't like that much. And if you look at my channel, you see I made a lot of videos on the extreme gear. I'm still really sad the extreme gear didn't have any light trails and that you couldn't edit them. That's probably one of my biggest complaints that I have in the game right now. Of course, I talked a lot about the animations of the extreme gear and how I don't think they look that good, and how a lot of times they look stiff, especially when drifting. A lot of times when they drift, they literally just like tilt the character, it seems like. Especially when you playing someone like Joker or Amy, it's really apparent. But when you have the dynamic camera, it kind of helps hide that, in my opinion, because the angle doesn't look that off. Like, I feel like with a standard camera, it looks more awkward when they're drifting. It doesn't look as awkward with the dynamic camera. It's a similar thing with the tricks as well. I personally still have issues with the trick animations, and I really wish they could still be cleaned up, but in my opinion, the biggest thing I have an issue with is the clunkiness of it. Finally experiencing it for myself, I always thought that I was going to be using the default trick speed the entire time. I never thought I would be one of the people who'd use the faster trick thing, because of course I value like the tricks feeling more natural. Like if you're going fast, I want you to trick fast. If you're going slow, I want you to trick slow. However, I knew that the game didn't have a mechanic for failing tricks, but I didn't realize that it's because they physically stop you from tricking when you get too low to the ground. While I was playing, there were times where I would be flicking the stick and nothing's coming out, and I'm like, what is going on? Until I realized that if you just wait till you get close to the ground and you try to trick, the game literally won't let you. I guess because they don't have like animations to interrupt the trick when you land, but it just feels so bad. And so I would literally use the speed up trick gadget just because you can of course trick so much faster that barrier that stops you from tricking is much lower to the ground, so you don't feel it as often. So that clinkiness, I really hope and wish they would take that out. That like barrier that stops you from tricking, I really do not like that. That's kind of went up to like the top of my list with my trick criticisms. Because in reality, the game's almost out, so there's not much they're going to change anyway. There's not much point in me talking about the trick system or even talking about a lot of these animations. I think also that's kind of why I felt better about the animations, just because while we were months away, they could still fix and polish up a lot of stuff. So I was really hoping and serious and wanting that stuff to be fixed. But when I realized they weren't gonna fix it, I just accept it. You know, it's not my favorite, but who cares? At the end of the day, the game is still fun, so that's what's most important. The color lights on the extreme gear, I still hope they add that, because they already do have that little wind trail with a little glitter coming out of it. They already have that in the game, so I would like that for it to be a real feature. A big thing, of course, is the item balance. When you're playing offline, the game is not chaotic at all. And one of the reasons is because the game's lag, or with the game's servers, when you're offline and you get an item, there's a decent amount of time before the item respawns. When you're offline, if somebody takes an item in front of you, you can't grab it, of course. But when you're online, I guess like because of the latency or whatever, so many times somebody would grab an item in front of me and I would just go up behind them and I would still get an item. And so like, it seems like everybody, anytime a row of items comes by, every single person in the lobby gets an item no matter what. And I think that's one of the biggest things that lends to the chaos compared to offline. It could also be that AI just aren't as aggressive, but I generally do think that's a part of it. Not even is that a problem with the item grabbing, but it's also when you're finishing laps. There's so many times where these fools would be a little bit in front of me and they would just barely beat me, but it would tell me on the leaderboard that I actually finished before them. So I started to realize that anytime I'm neck and neck with somebody, I'm probably just going to get a higher place.
Oh my gosh.
You got hit by that bomb, freak. I think I got 6th place though. I got 6 for sure.
No, I got 4th, I think.
I got messed up.
You said I got 4th? How do you know?
I mean, I'm pretty sure just from looking. What?
Oh no, I got 6th, bro. I got 6th. You got 2nd?
That's how you know this game is cheating, bro. Why is it telling me I was clearly behind both that Tails and that Amy? And so I hope they would fix that as well, because that's not really an issue in any other kart racers that I can think of. I think some items are still a little too strong, like the spinner. I don't think that should take away your item. I think that's doing a bit too much. And I think some of these items, like the green shells and stuff like that, they give it to you too far back. And I think if you're in the back with like 3 other people and somebody throws a green shell at you, that just feels like the most petty thing in the world. Like, I feel like you should have more speed up items in the back, and then when you're in the middle or in the front, okay, then you can have the more attack items be coming up. Like, I think they need to fix that lottery system, or I forgot what word you're supposed to use. And of course, there's no voice lines for the DLC. Mess was low-key a little awkward with that boy Joker, I'm not gonna lie. But man, the modding scene, bro, they're so clutch. They had the freaking Joker mod. The voice mod didn't really work that well. But I mean, it's only the first week of the online test. Game not even out yet and fools already put in mods. If you look at my footage, you see all my fools got the riders outfits on. As a matter of fact, hey, don't tell them Sega Samurai this. I better keep this on the down low. But I was low-key playing the night before the beta came out because the fools cracked the system on PC. So I was playing Grand Prix the night before. I haven't played all the other stuff because I'm not that tech savvy, so I wasn't messing with it. But I got to experience it, and it was like the performance was so bad. And actually, this is the reason why I really did pre-order the game and why I fell in love with it. Because when the online network tech started, I'm on Steam Deck. And so I'm used to performance being kind of crappy, but Shadow Generation was actually really well optimized. And I pretty sure I was running it at max settings. And for this game, I was running it at max settings as well. These are like the only 2 games on my Steam Deck that are like modern releases that I can actually just generally play the game. I'm sitting here playing at 60 FPS with almost everything max. It just felt incredible. Like, I have to give my applause to Sega for that. I'm sorry, Sega. I'm sorry for playing early. But man, hats off to y'all for optimizing the mess out of this game. I just want to go into my main criticism, I think, with the entire game. I think in spite of everything, of course, if I could change one thing, I'm selfish, so I would do the lights on the extreme gear. Maybe somebody will mod that in, but that's like a really big thing I would change. But I think the ultimate thing that I wish that they would change is how they handle the handling types. The way most games I keep saying handle. The way most games use the handling stat is that, of course, the more handling you have, like, oh, the tighter turn you can make. I mean, I think that's what games do. Honestly, I never really understood it in Mario Kart either. In Mario Kart, I really just picked whatever car just felt the best, because like I could never, just looking at handling, the highest handling car doesn't necessarily feel good to me, you know what I'm saying? But in this game, it's like, of course, the higher handling, the better the car feels. But because they have a whole genre of cars that's like the good handling cars, or the characters are the good handling characters, by default, that means, okay, everything else is a bad handling car or a bad handling character, aka everybody else feels bad to drift with. When I mean bad, I mean not unplayable bad, but just not optimal. You know what I'm trying to say? Now, of course, I got over this. Like, I think I got pretty good at the game. I ended up in A-. I generally feel like I understand the game very well. First, I couldn't say that, but like the last day, that's when I actually decided, oh, I'm actually cold at this game. But it's actually wild how, like, I want to play as my favorite character, Knuckles, but like you play him on extreme gear, the turning not good. It don't feel good. You play with these speed cars, they don't really feel that good. The only thing that really feels good is if you put Amy on an extreme gear, the game feels amazing. And it's like, it's so unfair. Like, you really just made 3 characters, Amy, Cream, and Joker, because Joker has an actually pretty high handling stat. You made 3 characters that are the only fools in the game who actually feel mad smooth to use. I don't think that's a good philosophy to go about it. And like, of course, in Mario Kart, like, most of the cars in Mario Kart don't feel good, in my opinion. There's only like 3 or 4 cars that I will use. And so like, I give it a little grace, because of course when the whole game comes out and there's gonna be more cars and more characters and everything, I'm probably gonna find people that I vibe with more. But it's just like, I don't like that designation that you have to use a handling car to feel good. That's basically like the feel good category. I think instead of making like a category for handling, I feel like they should use a different part when it comes to drifting. Like, for example, charging, like, you know, the meter fills up and then you get the fire. I would much prefer, you already have a boost type vehicle. From what it seems to be is like, you go faster once you let go and you get that boost. Okay, I would much rather have, most cars feel better to drift with, but it's just like, oh, let's say Amy, Joker, Cream, oh, they just charge their drift way faster. And like, of course, it's still the regular boost, but they just get it faster. I think that's cool. I would like that to me, instead of trying to say all these other cars have to feel like trash. Like I said, I got used to it, but every person who has never played a Sonic racing game, they all say the same thing. You watch all these streamers, all these fools, all these casuals, they say the same thing. Oh, the drifting feels unresponsive, the drifting feels clunky, blah, blah, blah. And yes, you can say, oh, they got to learn the game, but it's undeniable that they're not wrong when they're saying that, because they're purposely supposed to feel clunky and unresponsive. And that's not good. They basically made 80% of the game and 80% of the characters all feel bad and only 20% feel good. That's not a good philosophy, in my opinion. That's just me. That's the real thing, the real issue with the game that I'm noticing now actually playing. One thing you can easily argue though is that, Beast, you're talking about 80% of the characters feel bad, but bro, you're still playing with them. Why aren't you playing only handling type? And hey, that's a great argument. But I'm always the dude who will always go swag over everything. Game feel and swag. But swag always goes a little bit more. Like, I play Elden Ring. One of the biggest things I was upgrading was stamina, because I wanted to be able to have the higher equip load so I could wear the armor I wanted to wear. I was literally like the biggest scrub ever with no stats and all stamina, just so I can put my fit on, because I had to have that thing on. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, the game is mad fun. So as long as it's fun, it don't really matter. Of course, I want the game to feel good. Like I said, that's like my number 2 on my list. Like in Mario Kart, I wish that I could have the drift be a little better. I hope there's some gadget that maybe messes with the handling, because I will definitely get a handling gadget. Maybe that's the answer we need. Maybe we don't necessarily need a new type. I definitely would like a different type, and just let handling be its own thing, and then give those handling types and those handling cars just a different kind of stat upgrade. But, you know, it's like a month before the game comes out. Even then, I mean, I don't like the way like Knuckles drifts in most of his vehicles, but at the end of the day, it's okay. And like, I don't really have that many other complaints. I mean, I've always had like complaints that I didn't necessarily want to like put out there on YouTube. Like, for example, I never really liked the collisions. Like, you know, like in Mario Kart, if you run straight into a wall, you will like come to like a complete stop. Like, it kills all your momentum. But in this game, it'll like slide you against the wall. You know, I don't really like that. Even when you bump into people, like, it's not necessarily as realistic. Like, you know, sometimes you can like go through people even, like, or, you know, it's just sometimes the collision's just a little weird, just a little wonky. And like, I get it's for game feel, like the game doesn't stop you as much, but I would like it just for like appearance sake, and I do like the realistic aspect. And of course, it's stuff like the servers. Probably when I was playing with my boys, we got knocked out like so many times, but it's not a big deal. But I highly recommend the game. The game is going to be amazing, and let me know what y'all thought about the game. If y'all rocking with it, are y'all buying it? What's good? Hope y'all have a good one. Be blessed. Peace.